In today's video,
the video quickly went viral and she garnered a lot of support on the platform. However, TikTok took the video down and gave her account a strike because the video was both immediately suspicious and against the TOS. So she uploaded the video again. Then she got another strike. She would then come to repeatedly say that TikTok kept silencing her.
They took it down for the same reason again, and now my account has a second strike. Guess what? If I get one more strike, I'm banned from TikTok. So not only did I get assaulted 3 days ago on October 12th on Sunday, I then lost my job. The police are doing nothing. And if I get one more account strike on TikTok,
Alright everybody, you know what time it is. It's time for another Strange and Dark Cases compilation. This is where I take all the cases that I come across while researching that aren't really long enough to be their own video but are definitely worth talking about and combine them all into one. With that out of the way, let's get started. We've got DoorDash girl films man from his door, frames him for assault. Here's a story that's been making its rounds on the internet lately simply for the fact that it's some pretty good rage fuel. This is because most people out there aren't really fans of people who make false allegations or people who peer into someone's house to film them without their knowledge. Olivia Henderson is a 23-year-old woman who was working as a DoorDash driver. On October 12, 2025, she was delivering an order to a home in Oswego, New York. The order was asked to be left at the door, like a lot of orders are. All Olivia had to do was leave it there, take a picture of the food outside the door, and leave. However, Olivia saw opportunity. The man who ordered the food was blackout drunk and had fallen asleep on his couch, only partially dressed. It seems that the door was left slightly cracked open or even fully closed, depending on the source. Olivia peered inside, saw the half-naked man, and started filming him. She then decided it would make a great TikTok video. She uploaded the video to her IRL Monster High Doll account that night, where she posted the man's name and everything. She said that he left his door wide open for her, presumably so she would see him partially naked. She called it sexual assault and walked away from the home, saying, "That's fucked up," but not seeming too shocked or disturbed. She said, "And when I arrived at their house, their front door was wide open and they were within eyesight of the front door, lying on the couch indecently exposed to me. I got this on video." The video quickly went viral and she garnered a lot of support on the platform. However, TikTok took the video down and gave her account a strike because the video was both immediately suspicious and against the TOS. So she uploaded the video again. Then she got another strike. She would then come to repeatedly say that TikTok kept silencing her.
they took it down for the same reason again, and now my account has a second strike. Guess what? If I get one more strike, I'm banned from TikTok. So not only did I get assaulted 3 days ago on October 12th on Sunday, I then lost my job. The police are doing nothing. And if I get one more account strike on TikTok, my account's done.
Olivia still went on to report the man to DoorDash as well as to the police. She was frustrated when her accusation didn't immediately get the man sent to jail. Then DoorDash, seeing that she leaked the man's personal information, fired her. She went back to TikTok to rant about this, saying that the reason she was fired was because she reported a sexual assault, trying to get her viewers enraged on her behalf.
Hey guys, so DoorDash just deactivated me 2 days after I reported my sexual assault. I was working. I was literally working, and they deactivated me. This is related. They just punished me for posting about my sexual assault while DoorDashing. They just fired me, and the police are doing nothing. I lost my job, and that was my only way to make money to pay my bills.
People quickly began to realize that, even in the few clips Olivia had posted, she was already contradicting herself. At points, she said that the man was jerking it. At others, she admitted he was actually asleep.
See, listen, if I wasn't the target, you still shouldn't be whacking it off, whether you're drunk or under the influence of any substances. They were sleeping on the couch within eyesight of the front door, with their pants and underwear pulled down to their ankles, and they were indecently exposed to me.
Things were made even worse when Olivia began to angrily complain that she wasn't being paid for the video of her accusing the man of assault despite it going viral. This rubbed people the wrong way and led them to begin to wonder if this might have all been for personal gain in the first place.
And they took down my video. They were gonna have to pay me for my second story time because that was over a minute long. They were gonna have to pay me for all those views I got. So nope, they took that right down. They took that right down. Absolutely not. They're not paying me for that. Nope.
Still, she said she was, in her words, a victim of SA, and went on an enraged rant about it being a man's world and how everyone was out to get her.
The police are doing nothing, and if I get one more account strike on TikTok, my account's done. This is a man's world. I'm the victim. Remember? I'm the victim.
She spoke again, once again accusing the man of assaulting her, but this time saying that she wasn't doing this all for financial gain or to increase her followers. No, she said it was for the sake of justice, all to get her fans riled up and for her to look like some sort of self-sacrificing hero.
So what, you're gonna take down my videos and give me strikes and just expect me to be like, oh, I just better shut up. I just better sit here and be quiet? No, I'm going to keep telling my story. Like, this is the only justice I'm getting, is exposing this man and having posted that video and it has gone viral. Like, now he can live with shame and embarrassment if people have seen it and knows who he is or where he, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm the one being punished.
People began to point out that, by definition, sexual assault requires someone to be physically contacted or at least coerced into doing some sort of act. What she claimed happened would have been considered to be sexual harassment or indecent exposure. Still, she kept using the word assault. She said that being naked could cause anyone around you to be assaulted.
Anybody could walk out and get assaulted from that, seeing what you're doing on your couch. It could be a child. Anybody could come up on your porch and see that. Anybody walking by on the sidewalk and accidentally getting a glance would be a victim.
Although Olivia reported the man to the police came to find the situation wasn't quite as she described it. Once it was discovered that she had filmed a naked, unconscious man in his own house without his permission, a different sort of investigation was opened by the Oswego Police Department. They said, it was reported that a male DoorDash customer had been nude inside his residence when a DoorDash delivery driver dropped off a food order. It was discovered that the delivery driver had taken a video of the nude male. This video, along with the subsequent investigation, indicates that the male was incapacitated and unconscious on his couch due to alcohol consumption. The police were able to get some Ring doorbell cam footage from the home, and it definitely didn't paint Olivia in a positive light. As reported by Yahoo, quote, according to the police account, the suspect, a 23-year-old woman named Olivia Rose Henderson, visited a customer's address on October 12th to deliver food in a contactless drop-off manner. However, she proceeded to open the closed entrance door and went inside. Olivia ultimately caused outrage all over social media. She came to post more screaming rants to TikTok about how she was a victim. Still, the police weren't buying it. The police came to determine from the footage that, not only did the customer never invite her inside, he was also not intentionally exposing himself and there was zero evidence of sexual assault, despite how much Olivia insisted it was true. It seemed that she had also opened the door wider to see inside and leaned in. The Oswego police added, she recorded him without his consent and then subsequently disseminated those videos. She was arrested and charged with 1 count of second-degree unlawful surveillance and 1 count of first-degree dissemination of an unlawful surveillance image. Both of those are felony charges. She was released for the time being, pending her court date. DoorDash came to say publicly that they had deactivated Olivia's DoorDash account as well as, for some reason, the account of the customer, whose ban may be temporary. They cooperated with law enforcement from the beginning. They said, posting a video of a customer in their home and disclosing their personal data publicly is a clear violation of our policies. That is the sole reason that this Dasher's account was deactivated, along with the customers while we investigated. Olivia is due back in court pretty soon. Both charges she ended up with have a possibility of 4 years in prison, meaning she could get about 8 in total. As of the writing of this video, it appears that her TikTok is still active. However, she hasn't posted since October 17th, now that the cat's out of the bag. Still, she surprisingly has a lot of comments and support. But upon closer inspection, most of these comments seem to be from very early on in the whole ordeal. This story has been one of the most enraging online for quite some time for people on every side. When it comes to real victims of assault, they're furious that someone like this will only cause actual victims to be doubted even more, and they aren't happy that someone is using something that doesn't fit the definition of sexual assault to further water down the term. For others, they can't believe that someone could falsely accuse someone else of assault and rile up this many people without actual evidence. In fact, her video showed quite the contrary, that the guy was asleep and didn't contact her. He didn't even look at her. Even despite that, her words alone were able to gather an angry mob that didn't question it at all until she started slipping.
So this chick went viral for months on end. Now, keep in mind, my Instagram feed is just filled with people talking about essay this and essay that, not to be rude to any victims. But, you know, this is the prime example of what happens when everyone is going to keep talking about essaying in such a fucking, how do I say it without coming off like an asshole? In such a type of fucking clout chasing way. So now, like he said, even the victims of actual SA are now going to be in trouble for this. Because this is going to blame someone else for something that not all of them are like. So this chick went everywhere and we heard her story. The guy apparently was nude and sexually assaulted her, right? Yes, SA, yeah. And apparently she really did that. And she did all of this and that. And it's like, something was fishy. The fact that the door was halfway open was really the big part that made me feel very, very iffy and gray. Gray as in, let's say the black part was me being like, he did that. He probably left his door so he could have a girl look in and see him doing all that perverted shit. And then the next moment, the white side of me said, something's fishy about this. Why is the door halfway open though? That doesn't make any sense. And why is she recording him nude anyway? See, with me, I tried to play a little game of what's right and what's wrong. What she did was wrong. And we know for a fact, she did something very wrong, ladies and gentlemen. As you saw, by law, you cannot do that. And she violates something that got her charged, and it's a felony. Now, that chick, after seeing these videos, she proved that she was a liar. The fact that she was yelling the way that she was. Has anyone noticed how bizarre it was for me to, you know, maybe this is just saying too much. Not for me, I'm sorry. You notice how bizarre it is that she kept yelling, kept screaming, saying I'm a victim? But everyone bit by bit, and people around them were like, this is suspicious. This is very fucking suspicious as to what's going on. And you can see that there's remnants of her little supporters, or at least whatever's remaining. But we know that's barely non-existent. So at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, what type of person is this to use something that actual people go through? And then I realize, because of the timeline we live in, a lot of these people want to try and use the word essay to be a part of something. Now, once more, my code word I'm going to lock in is where I want everything to be a little bit silent so I can understand, or more likely, rephrase, to get you guys to understand. And to understand the mindset of someone like this. All right, now we're going to talk about it. How many people do you see talking about essay on a daily basis? A lot. You see a lot of people talking about essay. I kid you not, my Instagram feed is full of people claiming victimhood or claiming that they are victims of essay. However, I have to, again, keep a gray mindset on this type of topic because I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's a lie. To start making assumptions and say that you're lying your ass off is quite dangerous in my predicament and position. To be like you're a liar and saying that shit off the bat, I like to listen to the person first before I make my assumption, depending on what it is. So when it comes down to this in particular topic, as someone who knows people who have went through that shit, actually, this does piss me off to an extent. Can we make that abundantly clear? Because this really does fucking annoy me. The fact that this chick did this and tried to get a free bag off of a random stranger and thought it was completely funny kind of just pisses me off. This is why when you hear someone saying essay is shit, you might want to have to be on a gray area because this is the type of person that fucks it up for real victims. There should be more charges for her because it's unfair. There are tons of people who actually have experienced this. Men, women, people that should have never experienced it at all have experienced it. And here you are, fucking making it worse for them. Why? For a cheap little gag? For fuckery? For money? Really? See, that's why I hate TikTok. This is the primordial reason of why I hate TikTok. It's because it is a quick cash grab for everyone to act like they are a victim on. I've noticed multiple fucking things go on that stupid platform. The worst, in my opinion, the worst types of people that should be considered locals are people from TikTok. Everyone on there has such an ego and such a pretending victimized mindset that they would literally try to jeopardize someone else's well-being. That includes harassing them, doxing them, finding their emails and shit, finding where they are employed at and lying their asses off. So fucking evil. That's the shit I'm fucking talking about, bro. That shit pisses me off. Someone like this is able to try to attempt to even make a free bag. She probably got monetization on. So a bunch of fucking idiots watched her shit, probably gave her more than enough money for her to keep living. I fucking hate TikTok. It creates an ego so bad that I just don't want to be around it. That platform is for people who want to victimize themselves and be pretend victims of something that they're not. You know what? When it comes down to TikTokers, I gotta be judgmental against you guys. You better have evidence, proof, everything. If I even hear remotely that you're lying about your victimhood, we are done talking. And personally, fuck you. Because I'm so sick and tired of seeing people like this get away with shit that they should not fucking be getting away with. This is the type of shit I am talking about. I knew there was something demonic. I don't even like using that fucking corny ass word on something that shouldn't even be called demonic. There was something evil about TikTok that I couldn't put my finger on, but this is the prime proof right here. Is the people pretending to garnish sympathy from other people who have experienced horrible things to themselves. Horrible things from other people. And TikTok creates that environment for people to pretend like they experienced this shit. Like autism being a fucking quirk for some reason. Now everyone's pretending to have autism all of a sudden on TikTok. Now a disability is a personality thing now. An aesthetic for example. It's an aesthetic now. Autism is now being used as a brand more than actual modesty behind it. So I guess everyone wants to be autistic now and acting like they really like autism. And all of a sudden it's a thing to wear on your sleeve and just say I'm autistic and all this shit. Oh, right. Great. Now I fucking know like nobody. Like I can't stand niggas that do that shit. You don't know autism. You don't know a victimhood. Respectfully, fuck off. Look, I don't ever want to talk about this chick again. I knew there was something fishy. I just couldn't put my finger on it. Alright, guys. Don't... Look, if you're going to be a content creator, don't create a TikTok. It will make you create a false victimhood and make up shit. And try to act like you're actually a victim of something, but you're fucking not. So respectfully, be honest. And out of all things, don't try to garnish sympathy on the internet. Sometimes these things need to be handled privately with a therapist or someone. It's fine to talk about the story, but if you're gonna garnish sympathy online, you better do it with the proper education. And you need to do it well enough to the point where you got evidence, you got all your shit. That's all I gotta say on this fucking topic. Fuck this chick. I hope she gets more charges than usual. Peace out. Fuck out of here.
Hi, I'm Lucy Christian. I am the voice of Otako Uraraka, and you should subscribe to Neusxanity's channel. Peace out!